Dear listeners, we're listening, we're learning. We know that you're very upset about not hearing exactly why the ending of the Borderlands movie was complete fucking ass water. Um, Brian and
Like
I were
when you shit out your ass and it's water.
yeah.
See, we're listening. We see you, we hear you, and we're going to describe the movie.
Yeah, for the next 3 hours we'll be going beat by beat through Borderlands. But no, the ending of Borderlands, we thought it'd be really funny to spoil the end of Borderlands at the beginning of this movie. The ending of Borderlands is the fucking bad guy goes into an alternate dimension with Lilith and gets dragged away by a tentacle monster off screen where we never see him again. And I don't know about you, Brian, but the corners of the internet that I hang around in have certain implications for what it means to be dragged away by a tentacle monster that I'm not really comfortable diving into.
Oh, do you mean? Oh, Monk. Do you mean?
I think you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. So that's what happens to Roush.
That's what happens to John Vanegood, the antagonist of Borderlands, and I definitely remember the name of.
Yeah, he's the guy. Atlas. That's it.
Atlas.
Yeah. John Atlas.
Michael Atlas. Yeah.
And then everybody was happily ever after, and the siren, who is Phoenix, who is just fucking flies around in the night sky. Wow.
Then, Lilith flies around in the fireworks, and we just don't think about what is happening to Atlas for presumably all of eternity.
Yeah. And that's apparently what's in the vault.
Yeah. It's not.
The vault is just that.
The other thing about this movie, the other scene, I don't know if we probably brought this up, because how could you not, is the 3 uninterrupted minutes of Claptrap violently shitting all over the floor.
It's long. We did bring it up, but I did listen to it already. We did bring it up, but I don't think we really impressed how long it was.
It was
just
genuinely
kept going and going. Claptrap shitting on the floor.
I could shit on the floor in less time than Claptrap.
Absolutely. And I realize it probably sounds like we're telling a joke here about a robot shitting on the floor. They're not. It's literally happened in the movie. Claptrap is just violently shitting loudly, and loudly is part of why it's a problem.
Mm-hmm. So
because it alerts all the fucking nasty boys.
Yeah. So it is plot relevant. The makers did include that scene for a reason.
Yeah. They're like, we need something loud to happen. What if we made the robot shit on the floor? So 3 minutes.
If we've glossed over any particular details of the movie, I think you can see at this point how this movie could inspire a general sense of malaise in a film goer.
Yeah. The movie, like, not wanting. We just don't want to do that to you, okay? This movie is bad. It's very bad.
You don't need to know what happens. It's for your own good.
Do you need me to outline the plot? I'll outline the plot. 30 seconds, okay? Mm-hmm. They come to the planet. They run into each other. They get into some shenanigans, and then they go and they move on, and they need to go chase another MacGuffin, and then shenanigans, and then they go and chase another MacGuffin. Somebody dies. But they don't actually die, and then they chase another MacGuffin and the shenanigans, and then Atlas gets sexually assaulted by tentacles for.
Wait, is that what was happening?
Ever? I thought we were on the same page, Monk.
This is all the power you ever had. Now it is mine. Pity there is not more time for us.
You tell him it's open season on all suckheads.
your land. No more clowning around. Fire!
Is that gasoline I smell?
No, man. No.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Yeah, that is
real
actually
show.
We are actually on the same page. It is actually what happens at the end of Borderlands.
Yeah, there's a tentacle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else have you been doing, Brian? I know. So typically, the problem we have with the show is that neither of us ever leave the house or do anything.
I was like out all weekend.
Oh hell yeah, you were out all weekend. Cool.
I was doing stuff.
I know frequently both of us will have this thing where we start a show and we need like a whole ass week to do the next episode because it's like, well, what were you doing? I don't know. What were you doing?
So okay, let me lead in. I went to a beach.
Hell
I went to a beach.
Like a tree.
Yeah, I went to sit in a tree and I saw really cool stuff. No, I went to a beach covered in oyster shells.
Yeah.
Because it's right next to where people used to harvest oysters for generations of oyster harvesting. And it's just piled up on this beach, right? Really cool. Was hanging out there for a friend's birthday. She got stung by a bee.
Awesome.
That was fucking wild. Hadn't seen somebody get stung by a bee in a really long time. And I saw it really close up too. So I saw this bee sting her and then just spin in a circle for like a minute as everybody's screaming.
You think bees would have TikTok?
I think bees would use TikTok
because they have the dances, right?
Yeah.
So
I hate this.
I don't know.
I fucking hate this bit, Monk.
What else do?
I'm not talking about the beach, Monk. Okay. At this beach, I was the only person not in the water. Okay. I'm just sitting there on the side. I can't go in the water. And
you're allergic.
Everybody else is in the water. I'm allergic to water. And they're all out there on floaties, just like kind of cruising around about like 10 feet from the shore. Really, really very exciting stuff. But we're just all like chilling out. I'm kind of staring off in the middle distance, and all of a sudden everybody's like, whoa. And I look up, there's a seal has just poked its head up and is just looking at everybody. And it's like, okay, cool. And then this seal proceeds to just like pop up multiple times. We're like, okay, everybody gets out of the water. They're like, I don't want to altercation with a seal.
Yeah.
At least on the ground, we have like potentially like a chance of fending.
There's
off
a reason.
seal.
There's a reason. Like clubbing a baby seal is like a phrase that people use. They're not very good at defending themselves on land.
Exactly, but in the water, they
that's
beat
the seal's
shit
domain.
Out of us. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be in the water with a seal, and that seal's mad at you. Like that's not good.
Bro's beef.
Anyways, yeah, these are the wolves of the ocean. Everybody, these are not chill creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are sea lions then?
They're the bears of the ocean.
And walruses are the lions.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we're just chilling out, and then we just kind of see this one pop up, and it's eating something. We're like, what's going on? And it was the human body. No, I'm just kidding. What if it was a human body? That would be something, right?
What if it was your friend whose birthday it was? That'd be a really cool birthday, is to get eaten by a seal.
She gets stung by a bee and eaten by a seal. Oh, I'm missing a leg. What happened? Oh, the seal's eating it. Yeah.
Well, at least that was the leg with the bee sting. So, like, at least that's
So lemonade out of lemons. Arnold Palmer's out of lemons. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm.
That's what I'm talking about too. And so we're just sitting there, and this what a moment of nature and majesty. My God. Another seal comes up. There's two seals. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they are eating a salmon, like a huge salmon. They're just like passing it back and forth like a bong.
Hell yeah.
And like coming up out of the water and just eating parts of it, and then going back underwater. And we just got to sit there for like 20 minutes and watch these seals eat a salmon viciously because it's salmon. They're bright red. They're bright fucking reds. You see them. You see
Yeah.
what's going on in there. I remember there was a moment where one of the seals came up and was pulling on something really, really elasticy, probably like some intestine or something like that, and just was like pulling at that shit like a dog with a chew toy. And I was like, "Ooh, that's a goodie. That's a goodie." So that was probably the highlight of my weekend.
That
They got a
seems
bunch
way
of
more
video of it, too.
entertaining than whale watching. They should have like seal watching cruises.
Well, a lot of times you could just go and look at seals on like a pier somewhere. You don't have to get on a boat. So
have
it's
you been whale
it's
watching?
less of an event. No.
Interesting. That seems like something you would do.
Why?
I don't
Whales
know.
are so boring. Whales are boring. Well, first off, fuck you. Second,
Brian, noted wook.
noted what now? So what was that again?
I'm afraid of repeating that, actually.
Okay, got it.
I'm afraid of the consequences for my actions should this bit continue.
Uh-huh. So that was probably the big thing this weekend. I don't know. I worked like all week last week, so I was just like dog tired too. But yeah. And then today I worked too, and I got to wear the full like meth cooking setup today.
Nice.
Because we don't cook meth. Wink. But we do have screens. We make shirts. And sometimes you have to wash out the screens with a emulsion remover to get all the shit out, and that shit's not good for you.
Yeah.
So it's actually made of the same stuff they now use to make tracer rounds for the military. Fun fact: sodium metapenthiate penta something metapenta kill. There you go. That's what it's called. Sodium metapentakill.
Sodium Kilimanjaro.
Yeah. And so I got to wear like the full. I got to make all sorts of jokes. I was like, we gotta cook, Jesse. That sort of stuff. you gotta love those little lights in a workplace where you're just where you're out in the sun in a sweatshirt.
It is cool when you get to play a little game at work too. Like when you get to play Breaking Bad. Like I got to what I would do at my old job. I can't do this at my new job because I work remote. But whenever I had like a really frustrating ticket, what I would do is we had like this whiteboard, and I would pull out the whiteboard and just sort of harass everyone in my department until someone would play house with me and think of things that we can write down on the whiteboard while diagnosing this computer issue.
Amazing.
It actually did work, but it was also really fun to play house.
Yeah, I mean, turning work into a game is always better. That's a tip from us to you, listener, is that if you
we know we have a lot of like managerial types who listen to us, so maybe make working fun in a way that isn't we're going to have a pizza party instead of raises.
Yeah, because pizza party instead of raises is
you have to understand that talking to my coworkers is not fun. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah. Pizza party instead of raises is basically like, oh, should I kill myself or you? And that's the
answer is both.
And it's both, right? But but the thing is, you could do the most if you're a manager. This is only for the managers. Everybody else log off. Do the most you can to prevent yourself from becoming food for the guillotine. That's what I'm saying. Okay,
that's the primary thing you should be thinking about is your days are numbered, and enjoy it while it lasts. And let's hope you have a long and productive life after you no longer get to be a manager.
Yeah, exactly. We're rooting for you. It's not our choice. It's the choice of those little people.
Yeah, it's
They're
the
the
choice of
ones.
the JD Pop.
You know, when the Cultural Revolution comes to America through Donald Trump's beautiful lens of
Yeah.
beautiful revolutionary light,
Hell yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that all of the swallows or God, it's the wrong bird, isn't it?
I think swallows is right. Keep going.
Okay, all the swallows are gonna be spits instead. There you go. Boom.
Awesome.
Boom. That's the joke. That's the joke. You know how
You
Dasha
think we're
feels about
ever gonna?
women?
You think we're gonna? One of the things that I'm really glad about with this podcast is
Mm-hmm.
that I'm never at risk of anyone printing out something I said in the podcast and handing it to me like a tweet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe someone will transcript it, which is would be very funny to me because it would mean that someone had to sit down and write out what we were saying.
That would be hilarious.
Or someone could play an audio clip of the podcast. And I don't know if I was like sitting that if like some like this is just me being fucking paranoid, but if some like fucking 3-letter agency type guy played like sat me down and played me a clip of my own podcast that I would have to listen to
Mhm.
as like evidence of like, you've been saying subversive behavior online, this will we're gonna send you to Guantanamo Bay. um or whatever the fuck it is these people do. They probably just kill you.
I mean, they just hit you with the U-238 round from 1,000 yards because they're all
Yeah.
operators, you know.
That's true.
And definitely not bumbling idiots.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be funny to be sitting there in the room with them. The podcast is playing, and I say something about like, well, "Hey, I'm jorking my penis."
I'm jorking my peanuts for Mao. That'd be
Woohoo!
that'd be pretty good though. Just saying.
I've had a productive weekend too, Brian. Have I shown you my banana bread?
I have not seen the banana bread.
Look at this banana bread I made.
I will judge. I want you to know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty good looking banana bread.
It is pretty good. I kind of personally, I think I probably use a little bit too much flour. It's just a tad dry, you know?
Tad dry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's not good when you're doing a banana bread, honestly.
It's not like bad dry, you know, it's not like bone dry, you know, it's just not as wet as I would like it to be. But what I think is like it's perfectly edible as it is. And I think toasting it a bit and putting some butter on it would just solve that problem entirely. But this is my first time making banana bread, actually.
Well, great job. That's an excellent first try. I have a fun little thing you could do if you want to get a little fancy with it. You want a little tip or trick?
You want to know the things I did that were I thought was fancy for this one? Is
absolutely.
So this was made with brown butter.
Oh wow! That was one of them I was going to drop. Yeah.
I used what's the seasoning mix I used? I used I think I told you about this and you were skeptical.
Yeah, because you said it had coriander in it, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, it does have coriander, but you know, I think coriander and bananas go all right together.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that.
But it's like it's got a ton of shit in it. It's got where the fuck can I find the mix I got? Whatever. It has like a bunch of shit like it has coriander, it has cumin, it has ground black pepper, but it's not like super overwhelming because it's mixed in as well with like cardamom, cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, and rose petals, which were really the forward notes in the flavor. And then the coriander and cumin were not necessarily detectable as coriander or cumin. It was just kind
cumin,
of
I get cumin a lot more, right? Because coriander has a very like kind of it has that vegetal kind of thing going on with it that I wouldn't expect to go great with a banana. But cumin itself is just earthy, and earthy and banana go really well together.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me.
I mean, the coriander is really like, it's like a giant list of ingredients, and the coriander is one note in the orchestra, you know? It's not really
Yeah, for sure.
detectable as coriander. I think you probably could if you were making your own spice mix and not just fucking sprinkling some shit that you found that looked good at the grocery store into your dough. I think it or batter, I guess, whatever. I think you probably could just make this spice mix and leave out the coriander, but it was good.
Mhm.
It didn't taste like coriander is the big thing.
Yeah, you didn't get a big mouthful of cilantro when you did it.
No.
I wonder how somebody who hated cilantro or coriander would feel about it.
That's interesting.
I-
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean,
it'd
if you think
probably
about the amount of spice mix I'm using, right? Because it was really like, I think I probably could have spiced it heavier because the recipe I was using called for about like 1.5 teaspoons, and I made a double batch, so there was like 3 teaspoons in there total of the spice mix. So there's really not 3 teaspoons spread between like 2 loaves of banana bread. I don't think it's like coriander not strong enough where that's going to be detectable to me at least as like a, but maybe I don't know.
No, especially if it's only part of the symphony. Yeah, absolutely. You know, like nobody's noticing the timpani. Okay, and if you're a timpani player, I'm not sorry. Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is like a staple spice mix in Eastern Mediterranean cooking. And I did, before I put it in my banana bread, I did do my research and see, has anyone else made banana bread with this, or am I going to, because I can't be the first person to have thought of this. And yes, people have, and it's good. So doing
Also,
the sanity
sorry.
check beforehand was
Yeah, that's always a good idea. Also, I'm sorry I came in so hot, timpani players. You're God's children too. And you will also meet the flames, but we all will.
Everyone, even those who repent.
True. It's true.
What was your other hot tip? You said brown butter was one. There's some crushed up
Walnuts.
pecans in here.
You did pecans. I think walnuts are better, but pecans are good. Yeah, that's basically it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You did.
I have that fucking
Good
sugar
job.
crust on the top. You see that cracking, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't. It's a little extra, but why not?
Hell yeah. I mean, it's a little extra, but the entirety of the work involved for it is you just sprinkle sugar on top and it does that.
Yeah. Hey, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
I've also been on
to be a hater, that's all I'm saying, okay?
Listen, I know that you prefer everything to be taste like raw ginger. And that's fine.
Raw ginger and cucumbers. That's it. That's all I eat. That's it.
The other thing I've been getting into is I've been getting into my slushy beverage game, which I know I have been talking to you about. I want to make you mentioned Arnold Palmer's, and I have a big fucking giant like gallon jug of the Arizona Arnold Palmer drink in my fridge. I'm wondering if I could like make a Arnold Palmer slush. That would probably be pretty good.
Palmer?
Arnold Palmer.
Arnold?
Arnold.
But who drank Arnold Palmer?
Yeah, exactly that.
No, that sounds nice. I do kind of wonder how tea will go into a slush, but I could see it working.
Yeah, I think if it was good tea, I probably wouldn't want to do that. I've also been talking to my roommate about making some cold brew and making a cold brew slush.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into that. I think cold brew slush would be sick.
You could even like freeze some of it as like ice cubes, so you're not diluting it when you slushify it.
Yeah. Good idea. If you're doing concentrate though, which a lot of people just go straight to concentrate, it might be good to break it down a little bit with some water.
I don't know.
But,
I don't know how my roommate
yeah.
makes cold brew, so I'd have to I'd have to see.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, that's all my weekend. I've just been fucking cooking, and that's all I do is I cook and I read and I listen to music and I sit on the computer.
Yeah, I mean, those are the good things to do. Oh, I got the new Star Wars game because I'm fucking I'm like that.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, really enjoying it. It is a Ubisoft game and does a lot of things that are Ubisoft game things. But it is probably the best the best feeling Ubisoft game I've ever played.
Yeah.
So if you like Ubisoft games, I gotta say, maybe give it a shot, but also probably wait until it comes down from $70 because that's a bit steep.
I prefer Bubisoft.
Bubisoft. Is that a website? I'm Googling that right now.
So now that's been about 20 minutes. Now that's been about the time it takes 2 seals to eat a salmon.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this fucking movie. Probably,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
So this one this is our first for the show where Brian and I independently went to the movie theater and saw this movie because realistically this is a movie that was like I think like made for our podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't think of anybody this movie was made for except for us, and frankly, love it, love that.
Yeah. Did you see?
But we went. I want you to know, listeners, we spent money.
That's true.
Money doing this, and also, we braved the wilds. Okay, we braved the wilds, the COVID wilds. Okay,
I had an embarrassingly large tab at Alamo Draft House after seeing this movie.
I had to buy a ticket for a friend too, so I still actually haven't. Well, okay, so my friend got the tickets for the two of us, but I'm paying for them, but I haven't paid yet. So I'm but I'm
You're
paying
on credit.
I'm on credit.
Yeah,
so I got a small loan of $30 to go and get 2 people into a movie. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
What was the theater experience like? What theater did you go to?
Oh, it was great. So I went to an AMC and I got to record that funny little video that everybody loves of Nicole Kidman watching a movie.
Taking her phone out in the theater. I see.
Yeah, I did. Well, of course I did. Well, only for that part. I
was taking calls the whole way through too, because it's like I'm on that grind set. So someone calls me in the movie theater.
No, it's only during the intros am I taking stuff out. I'm not doing it during the movie.
I know.
It's disrespectful to everybody in the movie theater.
I think if you sit in the back, you're allowed to take your phone out if it's like on a low brightness. If you're in the very back row.
Yeah, if it's on low brightness and you have the sound all the way off, back row is maybe okay. But that's about it. Anyways, yeah, so went and saw that in this like AMC theater with like really a deluxe experience. They've made this theater so it has recliner seats in every row. And I kicked those feet up.
Hell yeah.
Those dogs up in the air. And watched a wonderful movie. The funny thing was that people were pretty quiet mostly,
How many people were there?
Except for,
what was the turnout?
It was probably like 20, 30 people. It was a late show.
Okay.
It started at 10. So we were out by midnight, but it was a late show. And there was the only disruption that happened was quite funny. Somebody audibly moaned in the back of the theater. And I'm just saying she's living her best life, okay? I'm happy for her. Wild to get fucking finger banged in the back of a theater to The Crow 2024.
Yeah, I think
Like-
there was some finger bang action happening when I saw the end of Evangelion.
That's honestly more troubling.
Yeah. The Crow, I
But
think,
I mean-
honestly, is probably in the top, like the higher percentiles of movies where I don't really possess the equipment or really the desire to be finger banged specifically. But I don't know. I think I can see the appeal for The Crow specifically.
Really? I mean, like I can and I can't. It wasn't the beginning of the movie. It wasn't at the end. Because if it was at the end, I'd be like, "You're broken. You're a broken person."
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's kind of la la la," la. And it's
Yeah.
like, I say la 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 la, but it's dark. It's dark all the way through, but it's a little more of a romp at the beginning.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's
then
also
immense
like
security.
it's establishing like the like romance and they're like fucking on screen. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's
Like, I
probably
can see
better
it.
than like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, do they fuck?
I don't think they do. I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that one either. I don't know. I thought you had some insider knowledge on that one. Insider knowledge being having watched the movie.
Insider knowledge is in putting my fingers inside her.
Ugh. Wow.
Way up. Gotta go for it.
Gotta go for it. Also, you have little faith. You definitely, Monk. You may not have the will to, but if you did, you could definitely be finger banged. I promise you.
I think I'll pass, but thank you. I think I will.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to let you know.
I think I will.
You have options, okay?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I guess. Anyway. Theater I went to the Alamo Drafthouse Theater, which in Wrigleyville, Chicago. Let me read off a Google review for this theater that I think you will enjoy. Alamo Wrigleyville. Maybe I should have thought of finding this before like 0.5 seconds before doing it. Okay, here we go. This is Nelson Rodriguez, who's a local guide. Nostalgic can sometimes be a dangerous drug, imbuing our days of halcyon with a fondness and reverence they do not deserve. Luckily, no such problem exists at the Alamo Drafthouse Wrigleyville location. This theater is absolutely wonderful. Whether you're looking to watch the latest blockbuster while enjoying your popcorn, or if you're hoping to catch that gem of a small film with limited release that multiplexes simply don't have the room to show, the experience at this theater is sublime. It's wonderfully irreverent yet meaningful decor. Makes you feel right at home for those of us in a certain age, but also is very welcoming to TWO younger patrons.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
By the way,
alternative bad spelling of two. I love that.
By the way, I have to cut that fucking cough out. The decor he's talking about,
Yeah.
Is they have like a shelf up in one spot that has a bunch of like VHS tapes.
Wow.
And I went through the VHS tapes, and some of them are the films we've done on the show. Pitch Black was there, you know.
Oh wow. What a choice.
But anyway, he goes on for fucking forever about the shows he saw and the fucking things he ordered. He says, at the risk of being pretentious, this is a movie theater, and I go there to see films. However, I am entirely excited about seeing Twister there soon. Thank you, Nelson.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nelson.
5-star review. And let me tell you, I honestly do not have the greatest Alamo as a longtime Alamo Drafthouse head. I gotta say, kind of a mid Alamo Drafthouse here in Chicago. Part of it is one of the way Alamo works, if you have not been, is you have like servers there, and you can they'll run your food up and your drink orders up to your table. And they've got the same luxury seating that you were talking about, where you kick your legs up and shit like that. So I was like kicking my legs up, and like so part of it is a theater design, right? Because the way Alamo is typically designed, at least in the ones I've been to in Texas, pretty much all of them have this feature where in between the rows of seating, there is like a lowered down section so that your servers can like run food up without like running directly in front of you and blocking the screen.
Okay.
This theater does not have that.
Interesting.
And then beyond that, one of our servers, very, very nice person, did a fantastic job. Another one of my servers, I gotta say, as someone who fucking never complains about the service they got, exceptionally bad service, worse than I've ever had in an Alamo draft.
Amazing.
Like walked up to me like in the middle of the movie with like my food order, which he knows it should be for me because my seat number is like on the order ticket and it's also like right there. And what he does is to get my attention, because I'm kicked back, but I'm like looking at him and I'm like getting ready to like take the food from him. Instead of just handing me the food, he loudly shouts, "Vegan burger!" And then he like kneels down. He's standing in front of like me and like blocking the movie, and he like kneels down and he like, instead of like handing it to me, he like taps my leg with the food.
Wow.
And I'm like, bro, like
what on earth?
So, you know, after all of that, I only left him a 20% tip, you know.
only 20, yeah.
And I did have
respect the movie. Come on, it is a movie. You gotta. Everyone's there for the movie.
Like, I get it. Like, you know, like I get that that's a challenging environment to be a server in, you know, where you're trying to not like interrupt people. But again, like every other time I've been to the Alamo Draft House, every single server I've run into has been able to like be discreet and not like do that.
Now, do you think that this has a lot to do with the design, like you were describing earlier? Or
I think that's partially to the design, but the fact that the other server was there and not doing this, and this guy like clearly, because the other server is like hunched over a little bit to like try to avoid blocking things and is like very quick, like in and out. And not like shouting out people's orders like they're a line cook at Waffle House.
Yeah, shouting out vegan burger feels almost like just being like,
I gotta
everybody check it out, a vegan.
Well, I was there with my two like roommates who are also like vegetarian, so we were in the vegan section, and also like. The other thing that I thought was interesting is there were a lot more people you're showing than me, because there were two other people in the theater.
Well, I mean, you have to remember that the Pacific Northwest has always gone hard
for the Crow,
for grunge and the Crow.
Yeah.
I know those two things don't seem like they're very well connected, but they really are in kind of the zeitgeist. For reasons we could potentially get into, but you know, that's people show up for that shit out here. It's just it's a thing.
Yeah, and I also went on a Monday. It was Labor Day, so like that's not it's not your ordinary. It's like a Monday plus. And it was a 4:15 showing. So I don't know, maybe wrong time of day.
Okay, 4:15 is early. Like, 4:15 is an early showing. A late showing is also usually a smaller number.
Yeah. Well, they only had early, and they had 4:15 and they had 10:15 for the Crow.
Oh, they didn't have a dinner one. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I mean, that'd probably be the one that would be really busy, but oh well.
Yeah,
I guess they didn't want to have a busy Crow show. Okay,
maybe they had something else. I don't know. It wasn't the biggest theater in the world, but I'm probably going to go back to that Alamo, and I'm probably going to spend fucking $70 on drinks again because I'm a fucking moron.
I mean, YOLO, swag 420, blaze it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or drink it, I guess. Yeah, it's I'm fully in support of, we need our treats. As humans, we need our treats, okay?
Yeah.
And if you go too long without treats, it like we're a lot like dogs in that way, in that we will start to lose our threads of reality, and become feral. So
The cool thing about Alamo is that you can totally go there and spend the ticket prices at Alamo are like just to get it and see the movie are honestly, in my experience, like the same or less than like AMC or one of the other fucking shitty giant chains.
Yeah.
And if you do want like popcorn and soda, specifically the classic moviegoer fare, you can get bottomless popcorn and bottomless soda for like way less than like the giant fucking jumbo popcorn and soda that you get at like a more traditional movie theater. So it is not that's the cool thing about Alamo is I could totally be like seeing like you don't have to spend a whole ton of money to go there, but I always do because I'm a mark.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the ticket to the theater is the loss leader, absolutely getting you in the door to the restaurant.
Yeah.
It works. But yeah, actually it's funny you bring that up because the other thing that there was something else and I kind of forgot about it until you talked about like bad service, and that is at this AMC, while it has like deluxe seating and everything like that, they just don't seem to ever have employees.
Yeah, nobody wants to work anymore.
There's like 4 people just kind of like putting around doing shit in the front of house, and nobody really wants to work because it's a shitty theater job and they don't really care about it. So somebody like was emptying the trash right as the movie was starting and just making like a loud clanging noise right outside the theater.
Awesome.
I was like, that rocks. And then also just like I don't know. It's just funny leaving the theater before midnight and seeing like one person kind of like milling around being like, I guess I work here.
You totally could at like theaters these days. Like anytime I go to like a Cinemark, I never have anyone check my ticket at all.
Yeah.
You totally could just like walk into most movie theaters, I think, and go sit down and watch a movie and not talk to anyone or pay any money.
Yeah, it's very possible in a lot of situations to just go and do that.
Like they don't even like want to hire like an usher at like the front to like tear tickets anymore because like I think they just realize that like like people already like are just not going to go to the theater. And I don't know.
It's not like we're worried about space. Yeah, no, this one they do have somebody right at the front door. They have 2 of the employees that are on at any given time. One's working the ticket booth and the other one is checking tickets right next to each other. And then there's usually like one person at the counter putting food in people's mouths. And
what they should do is they should have like barcodes on the ticket or in the app, and they should have like a little turnstile to get into the theater.
Yeah, they should automate
and then and then if there was like okay.
I'm kidding.
Yes, that is the exact type of job.
Actually do that. They should have a turnstile that we can jump. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. You should be able to jump the turnstile, and then when there's a fire in the movie theater, it should be like a horrible nightmare situation to get out.
Absolutely.
Because of all the turnstiles.
Because of the band Turnstile.
Yeah. So what do you think about the movie now that we've talked for another 20 minutes about
Is that another 20 minutes? It's so fucking cooked. Okay, the movie itself. I actually liked it.
You liked the movie? Yeah,
I did.
I liked it too. I am solidly lukewarm on the movie. I did enjoy it. I did kind of my Twitter review for this movie, which you may or may not have seen, is
I did end up seeing it. Yeah.
I posted I said, and like this was a thought I had literally while I was in the movie theater, is I thought about the Wojak image where there are all the Wojaks in alt band t-shirts saying thinking in their heads, they don't know I'm pretending to not have rich parents.
I mean, that's very Twigs, absolutely, that's her character to a T. It's very funny that Eric's character is like, oh yeah, I burned down a trailer as a child, and that's why I'm in drug prison.
That's why I have about
And
$100,000 worth of like designer tats on my body.
oh, I mean, there's that. That's true. That's true. That's true. Well, you got a big payout from the will and testament and life insurance or whatever.
For sure.
The horse and the fucking barbed wire at the beginning.
Yeah.
I laughed when I saw that. People were telling me about it afterwards, and I don't remember. I blacked out.
I also black out whenever I see a horse, and I also do laugh when I see them suffer, so I understand.
Yeah. I don't remember being that evil, but apparently
yeah,
I am. Yeah,
so
I mean, you do have to to a degree, you do have to suspend your disbelief when it comes to a movie like this, because yes, you do have like the weird metal guy in the drug prison who is everybody hates, who's covered in tattoos, and it's just like, well, where did he get these tattoos? And it's like, well, I don't know. It's kind of a friend situation where it's like, yeah, it's all these like working young people in an apartment. And it's just
and I don't mean this as like a sincere like, oh my god, this movie is like ding. It is something that was noticeable to me throughout the entire movie, I will say. But I'll let you know, like, just to compare it to the previous Crow, right? The previous Crow had a lot of scenes where like, oh, they live in like a slummy kind of apartment. There's like people like mugging you like in the street. Like it's like a very, very much like a grimy setting, and
that's true.
The majority of this movie felt a lot more like glamorous, and I do think I prefer. This is where Brian and I are going to be arguing this episode, is because I think the original Crow is substantially better than this movie, even though I did like it.
I do disagree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know. I do kind of prefer like the rundown, like grimy, like Detroit in the first one than like seeing like doing ecstasy in a luxury apartment and like I don't know, it kind of it's not like it's like a bad decision to make, right? But I given like what they did in the previous movie versus this movie, I just personally prefer the previous one.
Yeah, no, I get that. I understand. And if this one was grimier, I think I would have liked it just as well, probably. But the one thing that I think they really did do in this movie that I thought was really excellent was it seems like they hired a writer. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
more movies should do that.
This is an extension of our larger disagreement, where I do not give a shit about the plot in the movie.
Yeah, and I do. I'm kind of a craft bitch. What can I say? I'm a little bit of a craft bitch. And
like the mac and cheese, I get it.
Exactly, with the K. And ketamine. And it's in this movie, it makes sense what's happening. We're in the original Crow, it's just kind of like it. When I wrote about it, I was saying that like the original Crow was like a Reaganite masterpiece, right? Because the messaging in it is basically like, hey, there's criminals being supported by weird landlord Illuminati to like burn down Detroit. Like, it's fucked. The politics of the original Crow movie are fucking wild and whack. And it's got drug war shit in it too. It's like just kind of insane. Where this one, they don't lean into that at all. It's like very much, they still have that like sort of they have another character that is an elite kind of person, right? We got what's his fucking name? The German name, Rausch.
I don't remember that one's name, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, but that's the guy that's got a German name. He talks about how he loves Wagner, and he's like he's very like obvious, right? But he also like makes sense. It's like, oh, he's a guy who's, I don't know, I guess spoiler section starting now. So, hey, 3, 2, 1, everybody. You've had enough time to pause the podcast if you need to. Um, yeah, he's like stealing people's blood and sending their souls to hell so he can live longer, which is like a motivation. The character has a motivation. And I don't mean this is like a particularly deep character, right? This is it's just like putting that against Top Dollar, whose whole motivation is, I don't know, I'm crazy, man. Is I'm crazy incest guy. Is
See,
like
I
a
love
huge
crazy
improvement
incest
to me.
guy. I don't know.
Like I love him on so many levels, right? But also when it comes to storytelling, I just like can't take any of it seriously. It's like, and I don't know if I'm supposed to take it seriously exactly, but like, but I want some level of believability in the movie to carry me through, right? Like I need there to be real things happening, even if it's supernatural, right? It's like, oh yeah, I got a supernatural guy who's like what like give a basis for that. Be like, oh yeah, the guy's like possessed by a demon of chaos or some bullshit like that, And then it's like, okay, sure, maybe that makes sense. That's how you get like a what's it? Oh, why can't I remember the name though? The guy who goes to hell. Wait, that's so many fucking movies. Spawn. That's how you get
Yeah.
Spawn, right? That's like what happens in Spawn is that it's like, oh yeah, well, these people are evil and they're acting in bad ways because their motivation is kind of
They're the
esoteric
devil.
and hard to understand for
this
everyone
movie,
on Earth.
like the Modern Crow is an example of that too, where this like the antagonist is like possesses a supernatural force to like live forever is his motivation,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, that's great. That works great for me. Yeah. And there are things that are worse about this movie than The Crow. I will go, I mean, worse than the first Crow for this one. I gotta say, like, the music choice was bad. It was,
someone told me
like,
I think it was our friend Turtle who told me that they actually did not have the soundtrack done in time for the release of this movie. Yeah, and exactly. they I think it was what I think Turtle said is they used the soundtrack for like the new Batman movie in parts of it. I don't know if that's 100% true. I haven't verified this.
Me neither. Same.
but believe it.
I do believe it. There's definitely moments where it's like there's parts of like the soundtrack that are just like during action scenes and stuff like that, especially during the opera scene, that it's very like stock music, get you amped up music, right? Which is very Batman. I would not be shocked if it was Batman. Yeah. Even if it's not from Batman, it's spiritually from Batman. And like,
I like when they played that Joy Division song though. That was pretty good.
Joy Division song was nice. I like that. There were like some choices that were pretty cool. But again, just like they didn't spend the time curating the music choices for the piece. They weren't willing to wait on the release of the movie until everything was ready, and really kind of shot themselves in the foot because this movie is so focused on like being musical.
Yeah,
and that was the case with the first one. It's the expectation through the whole series, and so that was bad.
Yeah, definitely a missed opportunity. I think when Turtle told us about this, you mentioned something about how you'd be interested in seeing like a recut or something that has the original soundtrack restored if it like comes out on streaming or DVD or some shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want that Twigs song. I do. I want that Twigs song in the movie. I think that'd be sick. Yeah. And yeah, I think that like, recutting it with different music would be fantastic. I thought the editing was good. I didn't really see any editing that looked bad. Some of the CGI looked a little bit jank, but that's
just how CG is, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't awful. It wasn't as bad as like watching Borderlands where the CGI looked like it was from 2000. Inexplicably. I'm gonna keep ragging on Borderlands for a while, so buckle up.
It's the new gamer.
It's the new gamer. I might still rag on gamer sometimes too. You know, I'm a wild card baby. Yeah. I don't know. What were your things about the movie though? I've talked a lot.
Yeah, I kind of I really I did enjoy a lot of what was happening with I think there are a lot of shots that are like visually like fantastic to look at. I think especially like the early section with like their like the romantic subplot between, or I guess it's just the plot between like the first act of like Eric and Shelley falling in love. I think a lot of those shots and like the music choice, and it feels like they front loaded like a lot of the best music decisions also in that first third of the movie. Because there's a lot of scenes, like individual scenes in that I think are like extremely good. I do think viewed as a whole, it takes a little bit for like the action to start rolling, and that's what we're here for, you know. Like I do like a lot of those scenes a lot. I'm not going to The Crow to watch a romance movie. I'm going to The Crow to watch a guy get shot like a million times and slice someone's head off, which they do get around to. Like and when it does happen, it's great. But it feels like there's like a section at the beginning where they're not necessarily even really building like narrative tension or setting up like a particular. There actually is one moment at the beginning that I thought they were going to do. I appreciate that they didn't do this, but because I just assume every movie is going to do the most hack shit on the planet. When Shelley tells Eric, if it ever gets hard to love me, just keep loving me harder or something like that. I genuinely thought, and they did come close. I think Eric was going to have a flashback later in the movie. Remembers specifically those lines, because there is sort of like this tension where like Eric's love for Shelley has to be pure in order for him to stay the Crow, and that's called into question when he sees like a video of Shelley. Spoiler again. He sees like a video that's set up at the beginning of the movie of Shelley fucking murking some guy while possessed by the devil or some shit. And I don't know. I think part of that was like, early section was like important to set up like that later tension, because that's like something that they are developing throughout the movie. I also think it kind of like it makes that point, and then there's some parts of it that are just kind of like meandering a little bit. I don't know. It's just not what I'm at this movie to see, but it wasn't like bad, you know. I probably could have
really. I really liked when because they didn't do it with that one with the Love Me Harder thing, but they did do that thing with the tattoo that I really appreciated when they Shelley has a tattoo that says laugh now, cry later. And Eric makes a joke, cry now, cry later, about himself. And then got a matching tattoo that said cry now, cry later.
Yeah, I think that's a lot less hacky too, because it's like a visual thing where it's like rewarding you for paying attention to the movie.
Yeah. Oh my god, I loved also how absolutely. And also I loved how much she got like how he like finishes it, and it's just looks like shit.
Yeah.
And that rocks so fucking much. I got a lot of good things to say about the portrayal of Eric in this movie. I'm gonna let you continue because you were.
I think portrayal of Eric is like a good thing to talk about. I think that I did enjoy it a lot too. I think when the trailer came out, I think a lot of people made comparisons to the Suicide Squad Joker, which even when the trailer first dropped, I thought that was ridiculous. Like they both have tattoos and they both wear makeup, and that's like the end of the similarities. And like Eric's tattoos throughout the movie are like at multiple points like shown to have like deep personal significance to him that like matters for the movie, as opposed to just having like damage tattooed on your forehead, right?
Like very like Suicide Squad's Joker is the most surface level bullshit ever. Like that's the reason it sucks. It doesn't suck because he looks like he's a SoundCloud rapper, right?
Yeah, SoundCloud SoundCloud rappers are
that's a
people too.
that's a type of character now. Okay, SoundCloud rapper is a type of character now, and Eric is a good SoundCloud rapper type character.
Yeah.
Yeah, like motherfucker looks like he's going to be singing Witchblades. I'm totally good with it. I think it's great. I'm like, yeah, you are in the Suicide Boys, and that's great, fantastic. More of that. They should have put Suicide Boys in the movie. Anyways.
My roommate walking out of the movie told me that she wished Lil Peep could play this role.
I like the joke. That would have sucked, but I like the joke. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, something else about Eric that I really appreciated is that Eric's transformation into the Crow isn't like, oh, it doesn't have like Matrix vibes at all. Remember in the Matrix when it's like, I know Kung Fu, that moment, like when Eric finds out in the first Crow, like he has that moment where he's like, oh yeah, I can't die. Like I'm good now. I'm just good. As after he gets like stabbed by Tintin, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, it's whatever. He seems to already know that he won't die. Where now it's like Eric wakes up from being dead and is just like, where am I? And ends up like killing getting shot several times and stabbed several times by a cop. As he's finding out that he is in fact immortal and Crow, you know, and that's something that the first movie just was missing so much.
I don't know if it was missing that. I think it's a different vibe, you know? I think it's fine that he like knows he's like an immoral badass from the beginning of the movie. You know? I kind of like, it sets us up for so many scenes where like in this movie, if you wanted to have like the arc of him like fully fleshing out his relationship with Shelley, and then another like full arc where he's like exploring the relationship between himself and like his own powers, like you're describing, and then another arc where, and this is something that you do see in the movie, there's less because of all this time spent setting this up and like really like concretely defining things and letting us like learn about this at the same time as a character, which I don't think is a bad decision or like a problem or anything, but what it does lead to is the final act of this movie does feel a little bit compressed, and I think a part of that is because there is so much time spent like in these first two acts exploring these things, and I don't know, I just prefer, I'm there for the like revenge murder spree is really the primary thing I'm invested in, and yeah. I think they did a really good job with those first two acts. You know, I'm not gonna say that it's like it's just not what I'd prefer to see.
No, I get that that's not the focus of the movie, that like that you and apparently a lot of people didn't want to see, right? They wanted more of that and less of the like the character building of the Crow, right?
So let me also make it clear. I think that it does work really well to have that more fleshed out in this movie, because we already have like the version of the Crow that I like, and if they've tried to make the version of the Crow that I like again, I think that would like feel like really just kind of cheap, you know?
Yeah, no, I do understand that, and I do
appreciate that this is a different movie with a different set of priorities, and I do think it executes those very well. It's just a matter of preference.
I think that they really would have fucked themselves if they did do it that way, right? Because one of the big complaints that you see if you look at reviews of this movie is that people are like, this doesn't do justice to the original movie, right? And here's the thing, if you're making the same movie again, there's like no way to live up to that movie. You just can't.
Yeah. Because like the version of that movie that people like already exists. It's the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So like they had to do it this way. And also this was the right way to do it, just for so many reasons, right? This was just a new take on the Crow, which is also, this is not like, the Crow isn't one character. The Crow is several different characters. The Crow itself is the like force from like purgatory or whatever. And that's what's the through line of the movies is. There's a bunch of other movies other than The Crow,
Yeah.
1986 or whatever, that all continue this kind of this story of like you know, the vengeful spirit powered by love. And that's all of these other movies that are out there. And they're all crows.
Well, people
They're
hate
just
the other
different
ones
crows.
too, but and those also
do,
feel
yeah.
like those also kind of feel like a slap in the face because like I don't know, I think continuing like the franchise after Brendan Lee died is a little bit I mean I definitely wouldn't like joke about him dying on a podcast or anything like that.
No, I would never.
I don't know, I think this movie like it doesn't feel like it's Brendan Lee's Crow, which is like the like the important part. Like Heath Ledger also died and he was like the Joker, right? But then like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was a great different Joker that didn't feel like it was like disrespectful at all. And like it's also different because Heath Ledger didn't die in the shooting of Batman, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, he died elsewhere for other reasons. Yeah, related to it but different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of parallel between those two, but it's just that people who are fans of The Crow are maybe a little more attached to it because of specifically the time frame too.
Yeah.
Because like when the first Crow came out, Brendan Lee died around the same time as Kurt Cobain. And so people were feeling a lot of like emotional pain around celebrities dying in kind of the grunge and dark subcultures. And so I really think a lot of people have like kind of a combined sort of social trauma around Brendan Lee and The Crow and Nirvana and Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
And
it's really a big shame that they let Courtney Love onto that movie.
oh my god. she's killing everybody. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I'm like, you know, and that is our two different tastes though. These two different movies, like our two different tastes really come together and kind of, you know, what kind of Crow are you into? You know, it's like, yeah, the like goofy sort of like grimdark Crow versus, well, no, not even grimdark. Fucking this one's grimdark too. Fucking like the goofy sort of like irreverent Crow versus the like the tortured painful Crow, which is what this one really ends up being. Is like you have this character that seems to have his life finally going good and then he just fucking dies. And yeah, he and his girlfriend die and they're fucking sad about it. And that manifests into pain. Where the other one is like, yeah, they're sad about it, but also he's going to tell a lot of goofy little jokes the whole time. I was like, okay, all right. I feel it's a little there's a little bit of an incongruity here, but you know,
that's my response to being sad. Tell a bunch of goofy little jokes.
To be honest, same. But you know, I like to see it the other way, right? All right. What else can we talk about in this? You want to talk about the opera scene?
I do love that opera scene. I think like I just before the opera scene, there's a little note I have. So essentially, like the final act of this movie is like Eric starts like this murder, like for a long time, for a while. There's like a build up to this where he's like finding guys and like interrogating them and going, Rachel, where is she? But he finds like a lead that like is like more concrete than the other ones at this opera house, from this guy who is essentially like just Shelley's like kind of like homie, you know?
Yeah.
What I thought was really interesting about the homie type character is that he's got all of these like weeb movie posters all over his room. And there are several that are on, like, we have watched for like the Discord movie nights that like some of the movie posters are like, there's one for Crying Freeman, which I know you hated and I kind of hated too. I think there's a couple there may have been one for Versus. I don't actually remember.
That's amazing.
But
my favorite movie.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I just thought it was really really cool being seen like that from the movie.
Yeah, the movie just knows. Hey, if you were involved in the creation of anything around the new Crow movie and you somehow know about us, first off, how? But second off, thank you for seeing us. We're out here
Living
talking
large.
about things. Yeah. Oh God. It's what's the yeah, also I gotta say, there are a few performances that really fucking sucked in this movie.
Yeah.
That homie was fine, right? The guy who get the tattoo guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the motherfucker got his death is so fucking devastating, frankly.
Yeah.
I was just like, damn.
Yeah, they
nice
really do
guy.
love killing like everyone who's nice to Eric at all.
They do. It's like, it's so dark. They're just like, yeah, you do anything nice ever? Time to die. You're not a piece of shit. Time to die immediately. Fucking, what's it? The guy in the hoodie who's like trying to warn Shelley.
Yeah.
Horrible. He just like, in every
Actually,
scene
I think that is maybe I'm mixed up
worst
because I
acting.
think that is the guy who has like all the weeb posters in his house, isn't it?
Oh, really?
I think so because he tried to warn Shelley, and then Eric goes to his house because he was trying to warn Shelley, and he's like, What were you warning Shelley about? And that's why he's.
Oh
like,
no, that is the guy. Yeah, I know. I thought you meant the guy with the guy who gave Eric tattoos.
No, probably.
Yeah.
He's the guy with the Edward
so
Woody posters in his house.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I got him mixed up too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy who is just one of the worst actors in the movie, and is, I don't know. It was enough of a bad performance that I still remember.
Yeah.
That it was just like, oh, couldn't have gotten a second take for that one. I'm just wondering, like, I had to look that up if he was like working on the set or something like that. If he was like just not there to be an actor and they just got him in for something, because it has that feeling. It has that feeling of like cameo of somebody who's in the movie, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also Rogue, who's the big bad villain. There's a couple of times his performances just really don't hit, and I'm like, when he's doing it, he does it, and I've seen him in a million other things. I know he can, but I just wonder what was happening, that he just like, there were just towards the end, there were just a couple of times he was just like really phoning it in, and it felt like
it may have just been that it was like a really like rush production, like if they're like literally not finishing the soundtrack.
Yeah, I know, right? What a shame.
Yeah,
what a shame.
I don't know why you would rush a movie like this too. Like it's not like there's any. I guess like keeping production costs low is the reason for it, right? But like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like if you want this movie to like have any chance of like making money at all, then you would want it to make sure it's like as good as it possibly could be, especially not like go by like the Ubisoft mentality, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know much about the production of any movie really, but it just seems like the vibe I got was like some things feel like corners were cut. It's still good despite that. But
it still goes. It just has a few moments that kind of sag because of it. But it is mostly good. I don't want to like tell you not to see this movie. Like I gave it a 3.5 stars, which is honestly like, I mean, it's higher than what I gave the original Crow personally. But like, I do honestly think that it is like a better than average movie. And if you like The Crow and, you know, dark media like this, It's worth it.
Yeah.
You should
Is
check
that
it out.
really the reason why there's so many bad reviews? Is people who are like talking about it in terms of the original? Because I honestly walked out of it like confused why there were even some like it had such a low score. Because it was like perfect. Yeah.
Popular review right now is, in hindsight, I suppose I probably could have just set my money on fire and pissed on Brandon Lee's grave myself.
Fuck off. Like, it's a different movie.
Hey, Matt exclamation mark on Letterboxd. You suck. Nobody likes you, and you should take a nap and think about what you said. Yeah. It's but like there's just like some of them are like that. Other ones are like, yeah, it just sucks for other reasons. Like the second most popular one is like the soundtrack is supposed to really fucking go and it doesn't and that's why it gets 1.5 stars, which is nuts to me. That's like nuts to be like the soundtrack is what makes it a 1.5 stars.
As someone who I think cares more about movie soundtracks than most people do, like it wasn't even like bad, you know, it was just a little bit flat at some points. When like I get there's higher expectations for this kind of movie to have like a really fucking ballin' soundtrack, but the moments that hit were really good. I am disappointed I didn't see more of those, but I don't know.
Yeah. Here's the third most popular one on Letterboxd. This movie is genuine garbage for 90% of the runtime. What? Then has 2 scenes that slap before characters start talking again and immediately ruin it. And then says, what that kid that kind of scares everyone thinks love is.
Okay.
I'm wild stuff. I don't know. I don't respect these people.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there can be more than one movie and it's fine. Maybe if you like I have the same fucking feeling when people talk about like fucking like sequels for games or shit like that coming out and they talk about ruining their childhood or something like that. Sometimes the sequels are legitimately bad, but it's like, bro, like just watch the like first movie if you really want to see the first movie. Like I don't there's no reason to make another movie that is here's the movie we made already again. I know you wouldn't like that either because they've done that and it's bad. Like not like remember Highlander 3 when we definitely did a podcast episode about it because there was definitely shit going on in that movie that wasn't just Highlander 1 but again.
Oh my god, I know, right? We saved you from that one, listener. We did. we could have you know what would have been a really funny gag is re-releasing re-releasing the Highlander and being like, it's Highlander 3.
Hell yeah.
We should still do that. It'd be funny.
That would be cool. maybe when we're maybe next time we should have done that when I was out. We should have released reruns when I was out for moving.
I mean, you know, hey, we wouldn't be the only podcast who does that. I'm just saying. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, yeah, people hate on this movie way more than it deserves to be hated on. And yeah, they're being goofy little goobers, okay?
Yeah. Especially like watching like as much as I do appreciate that the original has all sorts of like really cathartic action scenes and like fucking like the like scene where he is like slicing up everyone in the opera with a katana and like slicing their fucking brains open and cutting open their jaw and shit like that honestly goes harder than anything in the original Crow movie.
It does. It does. And there's some good action in the first Crow movie, don't get me wrong, but in this one they really lean into and I think respect the original text more than the first one does. Like this one is about like how the Crow is hyper violent and you know, and gnarly. And they even are like, yeah, he gets a fucking samurai sword in this.
Yeah.
They give him the samurai sword. They're like, fucking, we know what we're doing here. We know what this is. And yeah, it's just very like it feels like the same kind of vibes as like looking at like images from the comic books. They feel kind of similar in that sort of like that sort of expressionistic way. Uh, I think that it definitely doesn't go as hard into the griminess like you were saying, but the griminess doesn't feel the cardboard griminess that I felt from looking at a lot of the original one. This just feels like much more like interested in like a realistic and sincere sort of telling of the story. I appreciate it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 I also
Yeah.
like how they like another area where the music of the film, like anytime the music in the film is diegetic at all, it goes. I don't know if that was like that was like a real opera they were fucking. Was that Wagner that they were watching? I don't know anything about opera.
I don't know. I don't know. Opera Crow.
But I'm assuming it's a real one because I think making a whole ass opera to go along with your movie would probably, or even if it's just like a segment for that one scene, seems like a ridiculous amount of work for a movie that was already, it seems kind of rushed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought that went fucking hard, and I thought the music in that scene went hard, and I thought the way that they specifically like went out of their way to like have an interplay between the music and the action was very, like, I think the movie in general is like a very like operatic movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. Sorry, just saw something horrible.
Yeah.
Reddit. The Crow opera clip, and the person posting it in r/the Crow said, "I don't know how to feel about the opera music in the movie. It felt too artistic."
Yeah.
Don't
nerd
make
shit.
me post on Reddit, nerd. Jesus Christ.
Nerd shit.
Opera performance. What is it? I gotta know. I just gotta know what it is.
Yeah. What
I
else
don't
happened in
know.
the movie?
I'm not gonna find it very quick, probably. So
I think they should have. I think they should have specifically at the very beginning of the movie when they're still in the mental hospital and meet each other. I think. I think personally, I would have. I would have established that they are wearing the grippy socks. I think that's an important thing. That
I do think that showing grippy socks is always a good thing to do in movies. I'm pro grippy socks in movies.
I'm pro grippy socks in general. I saw that you can like just buy them, and the ones I have for my own stay I've long since been fucking thrown away because it was like fucking like God, like 8 years ago at this point.
Okay, I found the song, by the way. It's Robert Le Diable, which is I have to look up more about that, but yeah,
sounds like something to do with the devil.
It is Robert the Devil, literally. Robert Le Diable. It's a libretto written in French. I would have never known that was French, but it was French.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I wish I'd looked this up before we were doing the podcast so I could be like,
it'd be cool to be like prepared, but
it'd be cool to be prepared about the movie. But you know, you can learn along with us, listener, as we look at what it is, the fuck it's about. Can I get like a Cliff Notes?
Maybe this is our cold open next episode as we come back to what was the opera and the Crow about?
Yeah, right.
Maybe that's our new cold open strategy. Is here's an amendment to the previous episode.
Apparently Chopin thought that Robert was a masterpiece. So
interesting. So it's regarded.
It's regarded.
They didn't pick a shitty opera for the movie. Interesting.
They did not. A favorite of Chopin. Wow, that's some bona fides. I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else about the fucking movie should we talk about?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've talked about it a fair amount, but
Yeah, it's definitely a
what
watch.
else is
We've
there?
talked about that.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think about I actually really liked the kind of in between world. The Crow.
Yeah, I did like that. I don't know. I kind of got sick of the narrator in that area. I kind of think that
Yeah.
I kind of think some of those scenes like kind of like took a long time and didn't really accomplish much, but I think that the environment was cool. I think someone did a good job on that.
I think the environment was cool. I do agree that the narrator probably wasn't necessary.
Mhm.
But I understand wanting to like be a little handholdy when you're dealing with some metaphysical stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because people get lost in the sauce. People comment about how opera is too artistic for The Crow.
Yeah, well,
So
here's the thing is I think we need to be sending people to like camps so that they can understand how to watch a movie.
do you mean teaching art in schools? I think that you mean teaching art as like
No,
something that
because the
should be
adults must be
appreciated.
re-educated, or I guess educated. It's not even re-education.
Yeah, just educated.
I think we
People
should
just need
just
to know how to deal with art. Yeah. I mean, for real, I do believe that people do need to learn how to deal with art because
because people get the wrong
people are
idea.
very
People go on
disappointing.
the people fucking. And I know this because I am an autodidact. Like the people go on and their experience of how to engage with art is they are like don't know what they're doing, and so they just look at someone else's opinion and don't have any idea on how to formulate their own, and just act like complete fucking morons. And it's
Mhm.
just so much more satisfying to be able to look at something and say, I have an opinion on this, or maybe I have opinions on other things, but I don't have an opinion on this. I don't know.
That one's huge. You like, oh my god,
Having an
seeing
opinion on
something and
nothing, yeah, is
not
like,
feeling compelled,
yeah,
to have an opinion about something. Oh,
usually a sign that
amazing.
what you're watching is not very good too. To be honest.
Oh, that's true. But also like I don't know. I've run into so many people who have opinions about things that they don't know about,
Mhm.
like that they haven't engaged with on any level,
Yeah.
and that's that I gotta say, very vexing to talk to somebody and they're like, I have an opinion about this piece of media. I've heard from a lot of people, and it's just like,
Yeah.
like go engage with it if you want to talk about it. Like, please do.
Yeah, like
Do
in the
that
time it
little
takes
bit.
you to fucking yap about this thing, you could like watch the movie, you know?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
wonder if that's where a lot of these reviews are coming from, to be completely honest.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I think part of the reason this movie has been getting many bad reviews is probably because superhero fatigue makes it really trendy to hate on superhero movies. In addition
Yeah.
to the Brendan Lee stands out there.
Yeah.
And there's no usually the superhero movies don't get quite as badly review bombed because there's the countervailing presence of the Disney adults who will just say they love everything as long as it's made by a billion-dollar corporation.
Yeah, the production values are really nice. That's why it's good.
But they don't give a shit about this movie, so they're not here to to boost the ratings up.
Yeah. They're not here to make the Emoji Movie too. Have 5 stars.
God, is there an Emoji Movie too? Are you for fucking with me?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know there is the Emoji Movie.
There is the Emoji Movie. I think that one was panned. I think people didn't like that one. Thank God.
Right now. I'm looking at it right now. What are we looking at? Yeah, 1.3 average rating. There are 5,620 making up 3% of reviews that are 5 stars though, and I gotta know why.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to hear a 5-star review of that?
I think I'd rather blow my brains out. Anyway.
Mood. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh, the splash image for this just looks fucking wrecked too. Oh god.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
So
Stopping looking at that. Let's look at the picture of Robert the Devil that I put in chat.
That's a good picture. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's most of what I have to say about the movie.
Yeah. I do think there's one last thing that I do have to say about this movie.
Yeah.
And that is that it effectively uses slow motion somewhat sparingly and but enough and at useful timing, and that Zack Snyder could look at this movie and maybe learn something.
See, Zack Snyder's looked at a lot of really good movies as a thing. I think he needs to stop looking at movies and like read a book. I think you probably
he needs to stop.
Yeah, that too. I don't know. That's Zack Snyder has like seen like there's been like has gone on the record as having seen a lot of extremely good movies. So it's funny that he can look at one of his own movies and go like, yeah, that's basically the same.
That's the same thing. Well, you know, it reminds me very much of like Jeff Bezos going up to space next to oh god, what's his name? Holy shit, how can I not remember his name? Shatner. Going up to space with Shatner, and Shatner looking at getting the overview effect and being like, wow, we really must protect this world. And then and fucking Jeff Bezos being like, I could build platforms up here to do more business. And Zack Snyder is the Bezos type, and yeah. And cool people are Shatner in this
yeah,
situation.
Shatner, notably cool person that definitely has not done anything bad.
No, he's done bad things, but like, you know, he's also like he's just a weirdo.
Did he get Me Too'd
He's
ever?
Interesting. I don't think so.
He seems like the type who should have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for profiling you, William Shatner. We would love to have you on the podcast and discuss how you have not been a sexual criminal.
Yeah, please tell us more about how you have not done that. We'll be very interested in hearing about how you have not done sex crime.
Anyway, on that pleasant note, we don't have any voicemails. We don't have any email. We recorded this one like right off the back of the last one. In reality, like 2 days later, but that's basically right off the back by our standards.
That's really fast for us, yeah.
Maybe since we got ahead of the ball, we can fucking do a premium, Edging Deluxe episode. I can't say
Deluxe episode.
That's not what it's called. Maybe we can finally
get ahead of
that.
Get ahead of the Clone Wars a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't.
You should. Maybe we won't.
The only way you'll know is by subscribing to the Patreon.
Yeah. If you want to subscribe to our Patreon, you can listen to us talk about 2 Star Wars movies already. And then we'll also be posting something about the Clone Wars pretty soon here. So, you know,
we've
stay tuned.
Several things about the Clone Wars. I think this is
That's right. We're going to have
episodes.
like 3 episodes of the Clone Wars because the Clone Wars television show is long. I pared it down to make it 1/3 the length because I don't want to sit around and watch 140 episodes of the show.
You don't want to
I've done that already.
Binks meet the lava snake or whatever the fuck.
I mean, that's closer to reality than I wish it was. The Jar Jar Binks episodes are not fun. But you know what is fun?
Giving us money.
Giving us money. And also the Mandalorian saga in that show is very good, especially when you get to the later seasons. I know the ones that you saw, Monk, so far.
They were okay.
They're okay.
Yeah.
It gets better.
I'm probably going to go on my own time and rewatch those before we do our second watch sesh, because it's been a while and I kind of forgot some of it. But anyway.
That's fair. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for coming through, everybody. Follow us on the places, you know, you know.
Yeah, it's in the description unless I forgot to put it there, and then it's in some other place. You'll find it.
Yeah, I don't know. Ask us if we forget and you want to know. You probably know us, whatever.
Yeah, go use our the contact information you have for us to ask us how to contact us.
Yeah, call me on my cell phone.
All right. Catch you. We were gonna do. What was the thing we were gonna do? What if instead of the crow, it was the parakeet, and he talked a lot? You know, yappy yappy yap.
We were never gonna do that.